Hey guys, welcome to BrinaCreations. In today's video, we're going to be meal prepping for the week. If you've been following me, you know I do this every week, and even sometimes I do a bigger set every month to make my life easier as a working mom. So I have some eggs, I have some green bell peppers, I have some spring onions, which I love to use, and then I have some green tatashe that I froze, and I'm going to be combining it with the spring onions and the green beans to make a very nice sauce. And that is all the nyama nyama I removed from this beautiful crayfish. I'm going to be blending the crayfish for the week, so I'm going to be combining these three to make my life easier. I have here my tomato peppers mix, which I'm going to be using for my stew base as well as my stew. I have my leftover stew, which I'm going to be adjusting. Then the beans as well as my cut onions, which I'm going to be using. I'm adding more water to the beans, and let's get started. So this is all we're going to be prepping for this week. Remember that because we meal prep, it changes from week to week, and yeah, that's how we roll. So I've added my frozen tatashe and then my green bell peppers and then my spring onions. All this I'm going to be cooking down so that it will be easy for me. I can use this for my ayamase. I can also use it for my stews, you know, but I'm prepping this for my ayamase. I have my beans. We like to cook about 10 cups of beans per week for a family of 6. Sometimes we reduce it to make room for more, but I mean, this is what we do on the average every time. I've added my onions to make the flavor nicer, and then I have in my pot, I'm going to be adding my eggs. I'm boiling these eggs because I want to have them handy for the week so that I won't have to worry about boiling eggs when I feel like it. Sometimes I use it with some vegetables for dinner when I want to eat light. Sometimes I have chicken, sometimes I have fish, but that's what we're going to be using for this week, eggs. And then I'm just stirring this green base, I'll call it green base, to make sure it cooks well. And then I have my beans, which is already boiling. At this point, I'm adding my baking soda. If you've not been using baking soda for your meals, you want to try it. So I'm just going to put out the fire. And next, I'm going to be making this very good tea. This tea is very good for you as a woman. I'm going to be making a separate video so I can talk about all the benefits that it has. I'm coming back to my green base now. I'm stirring once again. In the meantime, I've preheated my oil. I'm adding my steamed tomatoes, and I'm just transposing the pot because this one here I'm using now burns faster. So I'm going to let the beans continue cooking in the other stove while I fry my tomato stew base. This base is supposed to be fried on a low heat, you know, and it makes my life easier because I can use it to make my stews, my jollof, and every other thing. And then I have my people coming to keep me busy in the kitchen.
Look at my eye now. Let it go.
Well, I'm glad to tell you here that if you didn't know that the secret to your stews and your stew bases is in the frying, here I come. So this is me telling you that you need to fry so that the tin tomato can taste sweet to the mouth. Before you know it is ready, and then same goes to your tomatoes. It doesn't have to, by the time your tomatoes doesn't have to taste sweet, but you know it doesn't taste sour. One thing that can help you is baking soda, but I'll be making a different videos to show you guys. I'm putting my water for my rice, and then I have this my stew that was left over. I want to increase the volume, so I'm going to be topping up some stew base and everything else. I add a little bit of water to let it cook so it can dissolve properly. At that time I can now adjust my stew. So if you have leftover stews and you want to change the taste and revamp it, it is very possible. So you don't have a particular stew tasting the same way. I like to, you know, be versatile, so I like to change things around. So my tin tomato is already tasting sweet. At this point, I am now adding my tomato and pepper mix so that everything can fry together. My beans is ready at this point, and I'm going to be grinding my crayfish. I showed you earlier that I meticulously remove every dirt from my crayfish before I blend. That way I won't have to deal with shells or stones and all of that, because I used to fry my crayfish back in the days, but I stopped. So what I do is, before I even blend, that's why I don't like to blend crayfish in the market, because sometimes they don't necessarily clean it the way I would prefer. So I usually buy painters and then I clean myself before grinding. So all this crayfish should be enough for us for the week, or even more depending on how we use it. Because crayfish has strong flavor, we like to use it minimally, although it's very good to use generously when it comes to soups. So guys, this is one of the things I do as a working mom. I have a 9 to 5 job, Mondays to Fridays, and it's not always easy to do some of these things when you come back from work and all of that. Meal prepping is one way to make your life easier. So I'm just going in with my green base, my tatashe and shombo, and then spring onions. Yeah, we don't do a lot of peppers around here except for yellow pepper. Okay, so I'm blending this. I'm going to just freeze because I'm not ready to make the sauce just yet. In the meantime, I'm keep frying my stews. I'm frying my stew base, just to give me that taste that I need so that it can be versatile. My leftover stew is melted at this point. So I'm just going to let it cook just a little bit more. Meanwhile, our rice is going in because we're gonna do what? We're gonna be having lunch. So guys, if you've watched my video up to this level, I want to say a big thank you to you guys. That goes to show that you're enjoying what you're watching. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, like, share, and then drop your comments below and ask any questions you may have, and I'll be glad to respond accordingly. I'm still frying my stew base, and then I'm just waiting for my water to boil, because I've already at this point parboiled my rice, and I'm just letting the water boil once again, then I can continue. Adding in my meat for my stew because I like to cook my meat. In this particular video, I'm not cooking meat. That's because the week before I cooked my meat. So I still have a lot of cooked meat in the freezer waiting for me, even though I thought this particular one for the sake of the stew. It's actually chicken, guys. So I've added some of my fried tomato mix into the stew so that at this point I can, continue cooking. I forgot to add some of the onga before adding it into my stew. So I'm just scooping a little bit of them to continue with my stew. This onga helps to make your game change, it's a game changer, In goes my curry and my thyme, and then I'm going to stir this. I've added a little bit of water to get it cooking until all the ingredients have joined body together. My tea is cooking, by the way, guys, and I have my stew base. I just want to round it up because at this point I'm already done. My stew is still cooking. I'm going to add a little bit water to this my garlic fish sauce. Was it called garlic fish sauce? Let me put it that way. And then my salt in my rice water. The salt helps to make the water boil faster, guys. If you didn't know, now you know. I'm adding my seasoning cubes, and I'm just going to break that up into the stew and mix. A little bit of water to help it keep going. Some salt to taste. And we're good. Now I'm adding my rice into the pot. Some more water to help it completely cook, guys. And I'm still stirring my stew. Don't forget to keep stirring so that it doesn't burn. It's easy for stew to get burnt, So now I'm just going to blend up my green base, and then I'm going to be storing it in the freezer until I'm ready to use. Remember that I prep my meals ahead of time, so even if I decide to make this on a Monday morning, I just need to bring it out to 2 hours before I need it, and then making my ayamase will be very easy for me, guys. It's not easy running a home and then running around with the children with house chores and then a full-time job, guys. But I'm done, and this is what we have. We have our beans that is already cooked. We have our cooked rice, which we're going to be having as lunch, and then boiled eggs, which I'm going to be putting in the refrigerator, unpeeled by the way, and then my fish garlic sauce, which is revamped, my ground crayfish, leftover onions, my green base. I have 2 bowls, and I'm going to be using that for my ayamase, as I like, guys. And then don't forget I have some string onions there, and then I have this my very nice tea, which I'm going to be sharing with you guys in a separate video. And then I have my stew, which can last us up to 2 times or 3, depending. And then the excess oil I can drain. Then that's my tea. Then I have my stew here. Yes, sorry, my stew base. This is what is left of my stew base, which we're going to be using for this week. I don't like to make small quantities like this. I prefer to make in the bigger batch so that it can last me for up to 2 weeks. So I don't have to do this weekly, because I prefer to have some things done this week, another set of things done this week. Even if I do them bi-weekly, that's fine. And then sometimes I make stews or soups, and then I have my burger and the rest of it. So guys, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, like, share, and then drop your comments below. Share with your loved ones, and then I'll see you in my next one. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, and then I'll see you next time. Bye.